Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are solving the Geeks for Geeks problem on reversing an array. This is a very basic and important question in DSA and is commonly asked in coding rounds. Let's begin with reading out the question. You are given with an array of integers and you have to reverse the given array. Looking at the examples, we are given with the input array with this and the output as this. So looking into the explanation, the elements of the array are this. After reversing the array, the first element goes to the last position and the second element goes to the second last position and so on. Hence the answer will be this. What the question means is that if we consider this as our example array, then the first element of the array should be reversed with the last element, and the last one should be reversed with the first. The same goes with the second element. Second should be exchanged with the last second, and the last second should be exchanged with the second one. Third one we need not exchange because we are considering the array of odd number of elements. So the third will remain as the third itself. Now to implement this logic, we consider two pointers, that is left and right. Our left pointer always points to the first element, that is the element with the least index, and our right points to the array index, which is the last element of the array. So basically what we are doing here is we are swapping the numbers based on the condition where our left is always smaller than the right. It's a simple logic where we swap the numbers. So, on understanding the problem clearly, this is the array which we have considered, and initially our left will be 0, and the right pointer will be pointing towards the fourth index. And the condition what we check over here is left is smaller than right. If left is smaller than the right, then we need to swap, where in the initial array we are having 1 as our first element, but since this condition is true, we are replacing 1 with 5 and 5 which was at the last with 1. Since our condition is first condition is correct, we increment left and we decrement right, so that now our left points to 2 and right points to 4. Now when we check the condition, left is smaller than right again, and so again swapping takes place and the condition turns out to be true. Moving on to the next step, left becomes 2 and our right becomes 2. Here the condition is false because both our left and right is true, 2, and our loop terminates. So our final answer turns out to be this. Now, how can we implement this understanding into our logic? Now we look into that. First of all, what we have done is we have considered left to be 0 and our right to be length of the array minus 1. That is the length of the number of elements that are present in our array. So we initialize left is equal to 0 and our right to be array length minus 1. Then we need to check the condition. So for condition, we'll be using while loop, because if we use for loop, we will require to use two for loops. If we use one while loop, I think inside the loop we can just increment or decrement both our left and right. So for the best case, it's better to use while loop is less than right. Then we need to consider a temporary variable for swapping, wherein we initialize the value which is at left in temp. And now we have to put the value of right, that is array right, into left. Now what should our right contain? Our right should contain the value of temp, because we have stored the value of left in temp. Now we are done with the swapping process. Now we need to increment left so that it points to the next element which has already been checked, next element to the element which we have already checked. So we need to increment left and decrement right, because you're moving to the next element, just the element just before the last element. This is the logic. Now we run the code. Yeah, our compilation is complete. There is no error in our code. Now if we try to submit the code, all our test cases have been passed. I have already solved this problem, so I get this remark. Talking about the time and space complexity, the time complexity is big O of n, because we traverse the array once using the while loop, and the space complexity is big O of 1, because we reverse in place without extra memory. That's all for today, guys. Thank you for watching. If this has helped you, please like, share, and subscribe. And please do comment if you have any doubts, or if you have to suggest any Geeks for Geeks or lead code problems, we can solve it together.